minimum expectation of what is to come for your prelim exams. This is ASRJC.
Not exactly the hardest questions.
Getting a respectable score for this
Will secure you at least a solid B in your actual A levels.
Find out why in today's episode of PPR. Alright, welcome back to another video. This is Yola from Vantage Tutor, the class above the rest. And for today's prelim paper review, it is a JC2 WA2 special, and it is from 2026 Anderson Serangoon Junior College, H2 Chemistry, JC2 WA2. Now before I begin, these are the questions I feel are insightful and probably worth your time to try. And if you would like to try this paper, you're invited to join my Telegram channel where I've uploaded a short summary along with a download link on my blog. Have a go at it, let me know how you did. And yes, I've started a tuition center. It's located near Boon Keng and ASRJC. Regular classes are up and running and the full schedule can be found on my website. So what are you waiting for? Link is in the bio, sign up today and I'll see you there. And also this June holidays, I'm going to run an intensive revision class for JC2 where I'll be revealing my 2025 Prelim Papers Excel sheet tracker where all the Prelim Papers have been sorted out in terms of the questions, the mark allocation, the topic allocation, including what I thought is useful and important to attempt. So if you like a copy, this is only given to my students and the students who are coming for the intensive revision. So if you'd like to find out more, you know where to find me. Firstly, this paper was shared with me recently and I can see the change in the rhythm, I can see the change in the structure of how schools are starting to set their WA2. You can see a clear leaning towards the prelim style of questions where a lot of schools are setting the commonly seen prelim questions. Why? Let's find out via my 3 matrices. Number 1 relevance, number 2 insightfulness, number 3 difficulty. Before I give an overall score, I recommend to you the type of student who should try this paper. And of course, if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, what would be a fair expectation of him from me in order for him to score an A in his actual A levels? Firstly, relevance. For the students who are a bit more experienced, for the students who have attempted prelim papers, you'll find this paper very familiar to you, very easy on the eye. There are many question types in there, or even the content of the question itself being very similar to what you see in prelim papers. A classic example would be the strength of acidity, and then relating all the effects, your resonance effect, inductive effect, and this is the prime example of how they are moving towards the prelim. This is essentially one of the must-know for your prelims, where when you see this question, it should be like a footballer who just received a pass but already thinking of 2 moves ahead. You already know the answer, and therefore you just have to write it out, and then you're looking forward to the next question, and maybe even splitting your mind into half and thinking about how to solve the next question already. And this is not the only question that demonstrates that. If you look at your organic chemistry, there's unknown mechanism and even your SN2 mechanism. And this is generally what you see in your prelims and your A levels as well. When it comes to organic reaction mechanism, sometimes it'll be like this, where it's a known mechanism. If not, it's similar to the last question where it's a soft nucleophilic addition, a molecule that you have not seen before, but then you understand the principles behind your nucleophilic addition, you can simply apply it. And hence, the relevance of this paper is definitely there. It's getting you towards the prelim period, it's getting you towards the A level preparation period, and therefore the relevance of this paper will be given a more than solid 8 out of 10. Next, insightfulness. Is there really a contextual question? No. But there are parts of this paper that I really enjoy in terms of reminders to students. For example, your SN2 mechanism. If you haven't realized by now, whenever you draw an SN2 mechanism, there must be an inversion in your stereochemistry. Most students will forget that. When you get to your prelims, it's very easy for you to forget, and therefore that will cause you to lose some marks. By making a mistake here, it's a great reminder for you. You're less likely to make that same careless mistake. And this paper is not just insights in terms of highlighting the usual careless mistakes that students will make. It also tries to test students on the things that they will be a bit more confused or mess up in their memory. For example, your tolerance versus your failings reagent in the distinguishing test. As much as all these insights are great, as much as all these MCQ questions I see value in, there is still a weakness in this paper. I know this is indeed preparing you for your A levels, but one clear part is missing if this was supposed to prepare you for your prelims, and that is elucidation. I have seen other schools WA2 already, and they did try to set at least some form of elucidation. It could be 5 marks, 7 marks, and in this paper, it was missing. Even though there is an unknown mechanism question in the paper already, having an elucidation, even a short one, could be very beneficial in teaching students some skills or even giving teachers a better gauge of what their students' competency level is. And hence, the insightfulness of this paper could have been a lot more, but at the same time, it's still rather solid. The insightfulness of this paper will be given 7 out of 10. Next, difficulty. I'm trying very hard to reconcile what you expect to see in prelim papers and the fact that this is a WA2. A lot of these questions are commonly seen in prelim papers, but they are highly technical, meaning not too much of critical thinking required of you, mostly just application of your skills, mostly just seeing that whether you have done your practice. I'm not sure why, but Acid-Base Equilibria has appeared in this WA when they have done it in WA1, and the only reason I see why having Acid-Base Equilibria again could be that they want to combine this with your nitrogen compounds, carboxylic acid, or amino acid, multiple titration point. But that's not the case. If you look at the questions, they are rather flat, they are just technical, and for the students who have done well in your WA1, or for students who have tried even harder to understand your Acid-Base Equilibria, this could have been an easy full credit for you. And to me, that's the other theme of this paper. They were taking prelim papers, but the students were tested on just the technicals. They just wanted to see whether you can do the very typical questions, the very standard questions where upon one look, you know what to do. All you have to do is execute and you are supposed to get this marks. And maybe from here you save some time, and when you get to the harder and more insightful questions, you'll be able to dedicate more time to think more deeply about them. And even if you don't get them, you'll still get a respectable B. And I can't think of a better way to phrase this paper, but it's a paper that allows you to know that you are at least a solid B in your A-level H2 chemistry. And hence, the difficulty of this paper, reconciling with the fact that you have just maybe barely finished your syllabus while attempting a prelim standard kind of question, the difficulty will be given a slightly higher than average 6.5 out of 10. Overall, definitely a useful paper, but something that could have been more. This paper felt reminiscent of the JC2 WA1 for H2 Math, where they were just the most standard of questions from your prelim papers, and they did not go as in-depth as I would have liked. There are some level of critical thinking required of you, but it's really the very minimal, and they have really watered it down to as basic as it can be. And that is clearly seen in the unknown mechanism. In a prelim question, they would have asked why this nucleophile is even stable to begin with, why is it that this is a nucleophile and stuff like that, but they did not. They just asked you to draw the mechanism. All you had to do, identify that that's a ketone and you have an electron-rich species, nucleophilic addition occurs. From a teacher's point of view, it will help us identify for students who are at least solid in their H2 chemistry knowledge and application, and potentially help me sieve out for the students who can score an A if the student is able to score one of the highest score, and hence there is a strong level of value in this paper even though it has its weaknesses. The overall score will be given a rather solid 7 out of 10. And if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, a fair expectation of him would be 70% in order for him to score an A in his actual A levels. Finally, who I recommend this paper to? I recommend this paper to students who are looking to find out whether they're at least average. And you want to try a prelim standard kind of question, but not the most critical thinking, but you want to know that you can at least smooth sail through the very technical questions that are seen in almost every prelim paper, seen in almost every A level paper. And therefore, if you are a student looking to get a taste of what the prelim paper could be like, you want to dip your feet into the water without getting drowned in the difficult depths of the prelim paper, and you want to try it under time practice, this is the perfect paper for you to start. This paper will be perfect for you. Alright, so we have come to the end of this prelim paper review of 2026 Anderson Serangoon Junior College H2 Chemistry JC2 WA2. Now if you like what I'm doing, follow me on TikTok, like my video, comment and share with your friends. I'm sure this will help them. And for students who like a more in-depth analysis, you can subscribe to me on YouTube where I upload more extensive and useful content to help you in your A-level journey. Because ultimately, I'm on my way to 10,000 followers, nothing else. This is Yao from Vantage Tutor, a class above the rest. Take care.